Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. My name is Aida Hafiza binti Zubair. Today I will present on synergistic effects. So, did you all know what is synergistic effects? Synergistic effects refers to an effect when two or more entities combine together to achieve something when either one could not achieve on its own. Thus, it is vital to consider whether or not the decision will lead to creation of synergy effects through successful integration of resources in making any capital investment decision. Next, we move on to the synergistic effects in terms of accounting. All indirect or synergistic effects of a project should be included in the cash flow calculation, whether it can be positive or negative. When the value of entity operated alone greater than the value of combined entities, we can see that it shows a negative synergy. In this situation, when the value of the entity operated alone less than the value of combined entities, we can see that it shows a positive synergy. After the discussion on synergistic effects in terms of accounting, we will continue to the synergistic effects in terms of business. Merger occurs when two separate entities combine together to create a new organization, while acquisition refers to the takeover of one entity by another. Let me give you an example of synergistic effects in terms of business. Since the both companies agree to merge with each other, they can increase the profits and reduce the cost.
Hi, my name is Nurul Kabiti Hamza. I will continue with the benefits of synergistic effects. The benefits of synergistic effects can be divided into three aspects, which are in the aspect of operating economies, financial strategy, and the other synergistic benefits. As we can see, under operating economy, organization can gain economy of scale, and there will be eliminations of inefficiency through its resources. While under financial synergy, organization can reduce the risk caused by diversification, and it will make a better use of its existing sales force. Under other synergistic benefits, organization can get access to new suppliers and customers. It also can reduce its managerial staff and improves its capacity utilizations in the company. Now let's look at some example of the merger of financial institutions. As you can see, the merger partner for Melbourne Finance Berhad is Amanah Finance Malaysia Berhad, while Public Finance Berhad has merger partners such as Kewangan Industri Berhad and Bungsu Finance Berhad. The benefits of this merger is to ensure the financial positions of acquiring anchor institutions like Amanah Finance Malaysia Berhad is not weakened, and it is for the government to contribute its part in this effort to consolidate the industry through the merger process. As a result, government will extend a 1-year guarantee to the acquiring anchor institution in the event of any further reductions in the value of the acquired assets, which will be determined after a due diligence review.
Thank you, Aida and Shafika, for the great explanation. Hi, I am Nur Nabila. Now we move to challenges in capital expenditure decision in the view of environmental effects. What is the effect to the environment towards the activities of company? Does it affect the environment in positive way or negative way? So, These are the general concept of environmental effects in capital expenditure. Okay, first, nowadays, society is more concerned about the environmental issues and they want to protect the environment, so they are more prefer on green products. I guess everyone has noticed that most of the companies nowadays are concerning about saving the earth. Okay, therefore, companies should not invest in an equipment or build a factory that will affect the environment. For example, to build a factory, companies should think wisely what type of heavy machine should they use in order for them to maintain the environment. They may choose a machine that not cause a noise pollution, even though the net present value of the machine is low. Okay, this is because company can have a long-term positive financial impact on the company, which can lead to creating a greater loyalty from existing customer and acquiring a new customer. If the company is not environmentally aware, customer will reject the company reputation, and they want to choose a company that focus more on environmental aware. So, the environmental effect. It is a documented evaluation of the adverse and beneficial significance of the direct and indirect effects of a firm's current and or planned activities, meaning that it includes the consideration of matters such as the cost versus benefit of buying from suppliers who are more environmentally aware, or the effects on public image of company from failure to comply with environmental regulation. Okay, next, why environmental effects is important to us. Okay, a firm will have a consideration of environmental activities in its capital expenditure decision, right? Those environmental considerations must be evaluated and determined early because of the length required to evaluate, process, and receive proper construction and operating permits. This shows that decision makers must not only use financial tools to evaluate and plan their capital investment strategy, but also have to consider the environmental impacts of the project. Okay, now this is the relationship in environmental cost management. Actually, environmental effect on capital expenditure usually interrelated with the environmental cost management. Okay, first, the cost incurred because of poor environmental exists or may exist. Companies should predict what is the effect of their action for the environment and what is the cost to be incurred. Second, the controlling the costs associated with the environmental impact of the business operations. It meaning that effective control of environmental costs will increase your business overall profitability. Alright, the third one is the environmental cost management include the current and future environmental impacts responsibility. Meaning that as long as the company running the activity, there must be an effect to the environment that they have to responsible with. Company need to critically thinking what is the effect, what is the consequences of the activities of the decision they have made in order for them to maintain the environment and also the reputation of their company.
Okay, now we move to the next slide. The importance that need to be considered with the capital expenditure decision. And this will reflect the way a company could encounter environmental impact towards the capital expenditure decision. Okay, first, before a company end up with final decision on capital expenditure, they have to identify and manage the potential risks for the negative effects or the outcomes company will face after proceeding with the purchase of capital expenditure. Okay, second point is managing, controlling, and avoiding unnecessary environmental and non-environmental costs and situation. For example, to avoid unnecessary environmental costs, the company should reduce such as carbon dioxide emissions, waste, and maybe reduce the consumption of natural resources in order for them to be sustained in the business. And third one is to ensure business activities carried out in accordance with key environmental activities. A company must ensure that their business activity are carried out in accordance with key environmental requirements in coming up with this capital expenditure decision. I think that's all from me. I'll pass the next slide to Atika. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Nabila, for your presentation. Hi, I am Nur Atika Adila, and I will proceed our presentation with the advantages to the organization when they considering environmental effects in doing capital expenditure decisions. The first one is reducing environmental impacts will reduce the amount of waste and consumption of resources, and also will lower the operating cost of the organization. Besides that, reduce organization's potential to pay liability fees. This is because the organization meet any legislative or regulatory requirements as imposed by the government. The last one is improve public perception and create competitive advantage to operate in the international marketplace. This is because the customer is satisfied with the performance of the organization that implement environmental aware. For the disadvantages, in considering the environmental effects in the capital decision, the company need to incur costs in the budgeting. Besides that, in order for the company to aware about the environmental effects, sometimes it requires company to commit time and resources. Now I will proceed with the examples of environmental issues that is caused by the organization to our environment. The first issue is waste, where it usually comes from businesses that manufacture products. Environmental laws prohibit indiscriminate dumping of manufacturing byproduct, so businesses must decide the best way to dispense it without risking our environment. Next issue is sustainable development of raw materials. One of the examples is Christmas tree farm, where sellers buy the trees from suppliers who harvest and replant the trees in order to keep depleting entire forests of naturally occurring pine trees. This will lead to higher raw material costs as they need to replant the plant in order to fill the industry's needs. The last issue is emissions, where manufacturing companies often generate chemical waste through air or water. The example of company with environmental issue is New Belgium Brewing (NBB) that is located in United States. NBB strives to reduce its impact on the environment. Therefore, they invested in a wind turbine, making it the first fully wind-powered brewery in the US. The company also stated their core values and beliefs about its role as an environmentally concerned and socially responsible brewer. For NBB's environmental issue, their marketing strategy involved the quality of its products as well as their brand, with the company's philosophy towards affecting the planet. They also strive for cost-efficient, energy-saving alternatives to conduct its business and reducing the impact on the environment. Therefore, they agreed to invest in a wind turbine. NBB also takes pride in reducing waste through recycling and recreative reuse strategies.